Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is, I'm Frank Lieser, Cybersecurity Coordinator at the High Commission for National Protection. And I will give you a short insight into the National Cybersecurity Strategy 4, the NCSS 4. But first, some information about the High Commission for National Protection, the HCPN. The HCPN is a public body under the remit of the Prime Minister and Minister of State. The main missions of the HCPN are preventing and managing crises of any kind, protecting critical infrastructures, and also, because that's what's why you're here today, coordinating and developing the National Cybersecurity Strategy. Next slide, please. Let's first have a quick look back. The first National Cybersecurity Strategy was already issued in 2012. It was followed in 2015 by the second and in 2018 by the third strategy. Over the years, the strategy have largely evolved in terms of ambition, maturity, content, and structure. Next slide, please. So first, some general aspects. Our new strategy covers now a period of 5 years. Previous strategy only covered 3 years. The strategy takes already into account some of the requirements concerning national cybersecurity strategies as they are defined in the upcoming NIS2 directive. Regarding the objectives, the new strategy is in line with the previous strategy. Recurrent objects have been further developed and new objectives were added. This strategy was mostly defined during the COVID-19 pandemic, and it also takes into account its impacts already now. It also considers the challenges of acceleration and digitalization, digital transformation, and the use of emerging technologies. This strategy is published in electronic format only. Previous strategies were also published as paper booklets. The strategy will be detailed in an action plan that is in fact a separate and revisable annex. Next slide, please. The strategy has been defined during the COVID pandemic in a collaborative approach, as far as possible, by a working group shared by the HCPN. 4 members of the working group were the High Commission of National Protection, together with ANSI and GovCert, the Ministry of Economy, together with Security Made in Luxembourg, the Ministry of Foreign and European Affairs, the Department of Media, Telecommunications and Digital Policy, the SMC, the Governmental IT Center, the CTIE, the Directorate of Defense, and the State Intelligence Service. Next slide, please. As already stated, the new structure is now aligned with the requirements of the upcoming NIS2 directive. So besides the strategic objectives, the strategy details the national cybersecurity governance framework, the national preparedness, response and recovery measures, the national education, training and awareness programs, and also the research and development plans of the NIT and LIST. Besides, it gives also an overview of the main achievements of the third strategy. Next slide, please. The strategy defines 3 high-level strategic objectives. The first objective is entitled Building Trust in the Digital World and Protection of Human Rights Online. In an ultra-connected society, it is the state's first obligation to protect the citizens and to ensure their fundamental rights and freedoms. The second objective is strengthening the security and resilience of digital infrastructures in Luxembourg. Considering the numerous daily observed cyber incidents and the ever-evolving threat landscape, the security and resilience of digital infrastructure is clearly of utmost importance. The third objective is developing a reliable, sustainable, and secure digital economy. A high level of cybersecurity is not only essential for the smooth functioning of our digital economy, but also the cybersecurity itself is today a key pillar of our economy. The three strategic objectives are each declined into several strategic priorities. In the following, I will shortly present the strategic priorities of each of the strategic objectives. Next slide, please. So we come back to our first objective, building trust in the digital world and protection of human rights online. In order to protect human rights online, interministerial coordination will be strengthened. Reflections on the regulation of surveillance and intrusion detection technologies will be carried out, and recommendations to non-governmental human rights organizations and humanitarian organizations will be issued. There will be a strengthening of efforts to protect the rights of children and young people online. In terms of digital inclusion, cybersecurity aspects will be taken into account, in particular in the context of the National Action Plan for Digital Inclusion. A more strategic approach to cybersecurity education and professional training will be developed. Also, responsible and coordinated vulnerability disclosure policy will be defined, and if necessary, the legislative framework will be adapted. To strengthen the fight against cybercrime, a coordination body between law enforcement entities and the entities in charge of cybersecurity will be set up, and cooperation with the Europol, European Cybercrime Center, EC3, will be strengthened. To prevent influence and disinformation operations, guidelines for businesses will be published. Next slide, please. Our second objective, strengthening the security and resilience of digital infrastructures in Luxembourg. Ensuring the security and resilience of the state digital processes and information and communication system is clearly an ongoing process. Systematic end-to-end encryption of sensitive message exchanges will be considered, and the opportunity to deploy a national secure instant messaging solution will be assessed. In 2016, the government adopted its first cloud strategy. Today, the use of the public cloud is considered a great opportunity. It is, however, of utmost importance to preserve the sovereignty of the state. Also, at national and European level, digital sovereignty is a key subject. Discussions involving stakeholders of the public sector, the private industry, the private sector, the research and the civil society will be held. At the level of the government, information systems, intrusion, prevention and detection capabilities will be strengthened. The massive use of telework has dramatically increased the surface of exposure. Therefore, advanced diagnostic tools will be deployed. In order to develop a shared situational awareness, cyber threats will be systematically assessed at the national level, and a national cyber threat landscape report will be published on a regular basis. Concrete and actionable recommendations in terms of prevention and preparedness, as well as security alerts, will be issued. Already, our previous strategies promoted a due risk management culture. Risk management tools adapted to the specific needs of the sectors will be made available, and systemic sectoral risks will be identified and shared. Next slide, please. In terms of critical infrastructure protection, The National Distributed Denial of Service Attack Filtering Center, also named DDoS Scrubbing Center, will be upscaling its capabilities. In particular, it will issue recommendations and best practices in terms of prevention and reaction to DDoS attacks. The opportunity of deploying a national network of cybersecurity sensors will be assessed. Also, GovCert will further strengthen its pen test capabilities. In the field of network and information security of operators of essential services, in the context of the NIS directive, the ILR will adapt the risk analysis and management platform CERIMA to the specific needs of the sectors. In the health sector, the security and resilience of key information systems and network will be strengthened, and the opportunity to implement sectoral SOCs and ISACs will be considered. In order to improve the management of cyber crises at national and international level, exercises using the national cyber range and involving operators of critical infrastructures will be organized. Participation in international exercises will allow us to further develop our national skills and to refine our processes. A transversal working group named GTT Cyber will be set up to boost cooperation and to promote mutual assistance between the public and the private sectors. Also, the cooperation of CERTs and private sector incident management teams will be further developed. Next slide, please. In terms of electronic communication security, the European Electronic Communication Code will be transposed and the security measures of the EU 5G toolbox will be implemented. The capabilities to detect and respond to risks and threats in the supply chain will be improved. Different measures to ensure secure email communications at national level will be implemented. The security of communications and data through the use of quantum technology will be developed. And the national cyber defense strategy will be implemented. Next slide, please. Our third objective is the development of a reliable, sustainable, and secure digital economy. Through the national cybersecurity portal, Cybersecurity Luxembourg, the cybersecurity sector will be further promoted at the national and international level. Companies offering specific services not yet available on the local market will be attracted. Research priorities in the cybersecurity field will be defined and coordination of actors at national and regional level will be strengthened. In terms of certification and standardization, ILNAS is the National Cybersecurity Certification Authority and in charge of the supervision mission. ILNAS will ensure that the rules relating to the cybersecurity certification schemes are respected. A first cybersecurity data space will be created and the data will be made available for the purpose of research and development of new innovative products and services. The cybersecurity competence C3 will expand its service offering, particularly in the domain of simulation, training, testing, best practices, and information sharing. The National Cybersecurity Coordination Center will take up its activity and federates the national cybersecurity community in order to contribute to the European network of cyber competence centers. Next slide, please. Capabilities at national and international level will be strengthened, in particular through the committed participation in the EU CyberNet, the European Union's platform for cyber capacity building. And last but not least, partnership with industry, research, and civil society will be strengthened. Next slide, please. So the strategy is published now on the new cybersecurity portal, on the Cybersecurity LU, and on the internet site of the HCPN. I thank you very much for your attention.